I'm Damien Mackay. I'm the grandson of Patrick Hughes, who fought in the GPO Garrison, the C Company 1st Battalion. Okay. A member of the IRB and Irish Volunteers.
And what are your thoughts on the Glasnevin Wall?
I'm totally opposed to having my grandfather's name on the wall included amongst members of the English Army.
My name is Michael Poole. My grandfather was Captain Christopher Poole of the Irish Citizen Army. Third in command, the James Conley, Michael Mallon, and then my granddad.
And do you accept, or what are your thoughts on the Glasnevin Wall?
Well, I don't accept it in any shape or form. I think it's an embarrassment. If the men from yesterday were here today, I'm sure they'd go up and they'd blow the wall up in some shape or form. But I think it's an embarrassment to the men, that's under the ground.
My name is Neil Ring. I'm a councillor for the North Inner City. I'm a relative of Joseph Ring, who was my grandfather, and his 4 brothers who were part of the GPO Garrison. None of them were killed during the 1916 rebellion. However, I know that the British soldiers who were over here had every intention of killing them and anyone else who got in the way of British imperialism as they tried to suppress the rising, and that's the reason I absolutely 100% oppose the name of any British soldier or Crown forces being associated with the names of those who gave their lives for Irish freedom in Glasnevin.
Yeah, my name is Paddy Scarlett. I'm a great-grandnephew of the Pearce brothers.
Okay, and what are your thoughts on the wall?
Well, I think it's absolutely disgraceful that the people who sort of sacrificed their lives in 1916 be commemorated on a wall where the Crown forces, whose absolute object was to sort of destroy the fledgling republic.
I am Marion Dernan. My family and one of my uncles specifically, they fought in 1916. In regarding to the wall for the volunteers of 1916, I object to the British forces names being put on the wall beside the volunteers.
My name is Dave Alvey, and I'm a retired teacher. And I learned from reading a letter in the Examiner newspaper that Glasnevin Trust are going to erect some sort of wall marking 1916, and on the wall they're going to have the names of everybody who died in just one big all together. The problem I have with that is I think it's the opposite of history. The wall is, or 1916 is about history, and if you suck all the history out of it, you demean the whole thing. So as a citizen of Ireland, I think that however well-meaning the thinking behind the wall, I think that it is ahistorical, and I also think that there may be a political agenda there, which I'm really tired of, and I hope that the people of Ireland are going to rise up and stop that.
Hugo McGuinness. My feeling is I'm mystified by the whole concept of putting up a wall to everybody and anybody. The idea that you put up a wall to people and the people who killed them makes absolutely no sense to me. I think half the people who are on that wall on both sides would object to the idea of being commemorated alongside the people of the other side. Not just those on the Irish side, but on the British side as well. It wouldn't happen in any other country. It shouldn't happen here.
I'm Mary Corbin.
Okay. And who is your relative?
My relative is James Hanratty. Now, he was the Dundalk Battalion who were called out, and then, they waited around and they weren't called, but then he was imprisoned in Clonglock and other places because when they went back, one ORIC man had been killed, so they were all taken in. So I kind of feel strongly about it. I also was a guide in Kilmainham Jail, so I feel very strongly about the whole thing. Now, I object to the wall in Glasnevin. I wrote to McCullough in fact, I met Muriel Macaulay McDonough there at an event last August, and she was very upset that I said they did not approve it. Anyway, I wrote to Mr. McCullough, and after a while, as I said in there, I got a letter back, a stupid letter, saying nothing. And I said to him that I thought it was disgraceful that, whatever about commemoration of civilians, they should be done on one plaque, of course. Our people should be done on one plaque, and the British soldiers should not be on any plaque. I mean, would the British be commemorating the Germans at the Cenotaph, or would the Americans be commemorating Viet Cong on theirs? So that was my point. But I got a stupid acknowledgement back from 2 weeks later, or 2 months later, I'd say, and that was all gotten over.
My name is Malachy Steenson, and I'm a grandson of Martha O'Kelly and Michael Murphy of the GPO Garrison, 1916.
Okay, and can you tell me what your thoughts are on the wall?
Well, firstly, I think it's a total travesty and a total insult to the memory of the volunteers who died in 1916 and who went out with the highest of ideals and the highest of motives as volunteers to be somehow put on a plaque or on a wall with people who are paid mercenaries. Not alone will you have people who are killed in the cause of Irish freedom, you will have their names alongside those who sought to suppress that Irish Republic, those people who killed them. I think it's... are we likely to see the Cenotaph in London now have the names of German bomber fighters on the wall written there, and them somehow being equated with those who fought in the British forces? There's nowhere in the world that you would have that. Are we to have on the inscription at the 9/11 site, are we going to now put the names of those who flew the planes in? Will Osama bin Laden's name be on the top of that list? This is ludicrous, and there is nowhere else in the world that you would get it.
Yeah, my name is Barry Lyons, and my grandfather was in Jacob's Garrison. His name was Edward Lyons.
And what are your thoughts on the wall?
Well, I really think that the wall shouldn't go ahead for the main reasons. Is I think for having the Crown Forces, who were the reason that the Irish rebelled in the first place, I wouldn't agree with them being both on the wall at the same time.
My name is Luke Johnson. I had 2 relatives. They were both great-granduncles of mine, Matthew Caffrey and Henry Gannon. They fought with Pearse in the GPO, and I feel that they would not want their enemies' names placed alongside their comrades and civilians that were killed in 1916. I personally do not feel this is right, and that no other country would allow such a thing.
My name is Kate McCarthy, and I am the granddaughter of Michael McCarthy, who fought in 1916 in Bowden's Mill.
Okay, and what are your thoughts on the wall?
I am so disappointed that people are thinking this way at all. I think we need to put this into a historical context. And 100 years ago, my grandparents were prepared to give up their lives to go out and to take up arms against the oppressive state, which were the British forces who were fighting and occupying Ireland and Dublin. And the whole idea that now we are trying to rewrite history and we are trying to sit comfortably the volunteers who fought in 1916 to free Ireland, and not only free Ireland, but to challenge the empire in a global context. That we are now being asked, actually we're not even being asked, we're being told to have our relatives and their dead placed beside the soldiers who were out fighting those very same people. I don't believe it would happen in any other country.
I'm a 1916 relative, GPO Garrison, and I'm a great-grandniece of Elizabeth O'Farrell.
And what are your thoughts on the wall?
I'm completely opposed to the Glasnevin Wall, where they're having the names of the British Army alongside the names of the people that died fighting for Irish freedom, our relatives in 1916, and also they have alongside some civilians who were basically murdered by regiments of the British Army, and their names are being mixed. So not only as a relative but as a citizen of Dublin, I'm very strongly opposed to this wall in Glasnevin.
John Gavin is my name, and I'm here representing my grandfather, John James Gavin, who took part in the Easter Rising in 1916 and was a member of the GPO Garrison. I would just like, as part of today's discussion, just show my concern that there would be a wall representing those that the enemy of our rebellion.
My name is Marcus Howard and my relative is Arthur Green, and I'd be very, very against what's happening with the wall in Glasnevin, and the reason that I'd be against it is because they should be remembered separately, and it's only right because in many other countries this wouldn't happen in terms of like the English fighting the Germans with be in the same wall.
I'm Nuala Richardson, known now as Sister Cora.
Okay.
I'm missionary sister of the Holy Rosary from Killishandra.
Very good. And who's your relative?
My relative is J.J. Walsh. He was in the GPO. He was arrested. Then he was condemned to death. Badly treated, he described, I remember that. And he's written a book called Recollections of a Rebel, which gives his story. But he was, after being arrested, he was in about 12 jails. He was condemned to death, but he wasn't put to death. And afterwards, he became the first Postmaster General and then the first Minister of Posts and Telegraphs in the GPO.
Very good. And what are your thoughts on the wall in Glasnevin?
Oh, I think it's a disgrace. I mean, who in any country, who would want to have the people who killed those people and put them all together in one wall of celebration? It makes no sense to me. I have no problem with the other people celebrating their celebration in any country, and I have a big problem with people celebrating with our heroes. It doesn't make sense to me, tell you the truth.